Welcome, everybody, to the Bar Talk Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jordan Shabbat, joined by senior citizen scriptwriter Karl.
Hello, everybody.
And joined again by BBC's Dan Mahoney.
Greetings.
And this is a very special episode. We've been doing this for about a year now, and we've asked you guys numerous times for your feedback. We want negative, but, you gave us a mixed bag. Questions, anything you wanted us to feature on the show. And this is our Q&A episode. We're a year deep now. We've got about 20 episodes under our belt. And our executive producer, Andy from Inebriar, is going to be rifling off some questions for yours truly, including my senior citizen scriptwriter and Dan Mahoney of BBC, for us to answer. Just want to thank you all for listening over the last year. This has been a lot of fun. And we'll continue to keep this going. Please keep the terrible questions coming. So without further ado, let's just get on to it.
All right, so we have, this one comes from Randall Phillips, and he says, so if you guys went to a bar where the owner of the bar was bartending, would you tip them or not?
Well, I'll go first as the only non-owner here. If it's Karl, no. That's it. It's just
Why not?
Karl, no.
Why not?
mean, he'll talk to me too much. Sometimes you just want to sit there and think. And Karl will tell me like 16 jokes that don't have punchlines.
Yeah, I'm bartending. That's what you're supposed to do when you bartend.
You need punchlines, Karl. Punchlines.
Give me a punchline.
But no, and honestly, I think I would. I think it's still your job. You're bartending for a reason, so. And if Karl needs a new Hawaiian shirt.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with you. I think whoever's serving you, you should tip. So it is a good question, though, because there are some places that I go to, and the owner is covering the bar. But maybe they're covering the bar with another bartender just to take that, 15 minutes of pressure off that person. But, so you don't really know if that tip is going to the owner or is it going to the bartender that they're working with. If the owner was the only one on the bar, I would say, yeah, if that's what they're doing, there's got to be a reason why they're on the bar.
I'll agree with that. I purposely don't put myself on the bar at Speedwell, and it's not for the tip reason. Personally, I bartended for a very long time. That's kind of how I cut my teeth in this business. But now, I kind of created this situation where I'm sort of the fucking mascot of the place, and I don't want to be behind the bar. And I feel like when I'm behind the bar, more often than not, I end up being the guy that's giving out more free drinks than I'm selling. You know what I mean? You see, you build a customer base based on regulars, and then you're you got those regulars, and you're rarely behind the bar. So I'm already rarely behind the bar. But when I am, it's like, oh, here he is. We finally got him cornered. And it's all in my head probably, but I'm just like, okay, I got to take care of this person. This person's in here all the time. I got to take care of this person. And at the end of the day, I'm giving away more drinks. So I don't personally put myself behind the bar, but I do that fill-in shit. And I don't expect anybody customer-wise at the bar to tip me when I'm going in, filling in, and helping out. If I'm helping out the bartender for 5 hours and she wants to throw me a 20 or a 40 or a 50.
A 40? Is that a such thing? A 40?
Yeah,
40 ounces of freedom.
40 to 40. Steel Reserve.
Yeah.
King Cobra.
Heffenreffer.
I'll take it.
Proud stock.
I'll take that, but I ain't going to take it directly from the customer. If a customer tips
Colt
me...
45.
Colt 45, dude. If a customer's going to tip me directly, I'm going to probably end up giving it to the girl the guy that's...
All right, so let's take that question a bit further and say, if you're going into a place as a regular and the owner is behind the bar, are you expecting free drinks? Do they expect it when they see you behind the bar?
That's a good question.
And they might not expect it, but do they at least hope for it?
Well, they want the extra attention, too. And that's the thing, too. If you walk into a bar and it's just a regular bartender, it is what it is. You want the bartender rate of attention. You want attentive service, a little bit of conversation.
As a regular.
What is it?
As a regular.
As a regular,
yes.
yeah. But when it's the owner, it's a little extra. Where it's now you're at the bar and you got to spend an extra 10 minutes talking
Well,
to that
everybody
person.
wants to say, I know the owner.
Yeah, and that's great, and I like that, and that's why we built.
And that's why we're in the business.
But putting yourself behind the bar is like putting a lion in a cage, man. It's like it's tough. I can't get myself to do it. I don't. I did it for a little while, and like now it's like it's
So Dan, I think this question is a great question for you.
yeah.
Yep.
You go into one of our bars, and either Jordan's bartending or I'm bartending. What do you expect as a customer?
I mean, I just hope for good service, especially from the two of you.
Ooh, what do you mean by
But in-
good?
I mean, I just
I
want
can't
you
talk to you. I can't tell you jokes.
Yeah, can you pour my beer without spilling it all over the place? But no, I wouldn't expect anything. But obviously, my opinion's a little skewed because I do this too. So as long as you're being a good bartender, that's all I want. Like,
Now, what if you were working with the owner? Would you expect them to let you have all the tips, or would you expect to split them with the owner?
no,
You're talking about as an employee.
As an
Yeah.
employee
Okay.
working the
Good
bar
question,
with
good
the
question.
bartender, would you expect to split the tips, or would you expect the owner to be like, nope, those are yours?
It's a really good question.
it depends on the level of work we do each other. If it's like, oh, you hop on for like 20 minutes to cover, I wouldn't expect the owner to take anything. But if you work a whole shift with me, I would think it's split in the same way. Like, I mean, I pretty much do the same thing. I'm the
Because I
manager
tell you
of my
what,
bar.
there's a
I
lot
agree
of
with
there's
that.
a lot of employees out there where at New World, if let's say we're short a food runner, and usually everybody tips out the food runner at the end of the night. If I come in because we're short a food runner and I run food, they
Don't even offer.
they don't even offer the tip.
I mean, it sucks that way, but it also, if you go to like work in a big
And
restaurant,
not that I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
Because I mean I know it's part of being an owner is to jump in where you're needed.
yeah, it's like a
course.
manager role.
But I think the employees say, "Oh, we'll just have Karl come in and bar back tonight because I don't have to tip him out."
Right.
Yeah, see, that's different. Like,
Right.
if you're doing it every night, you should be getting
Right.
tipped out. But it's like if you go to a restaurant, they have their manager on the floor, will be back in the kitchen running food and stuff, and you wouldn't really tip them out because they're kind of just bailing out everyone because they're managing the restaurant. So if it's a regular thing, I would think you should absolutely tip that person out. But if it's just like I've jumped behind the bar in a busy event and worked for 2 hours and don't expect anything, then I'm not an owner. So
Right.
I think that just kind of comes with the responsibility of it. But like you said, if it's if it's your shift, they should be getting tipped out. Like, it's just any other person.
Right, my cutoff has always been like 2 hours. So if
Yeah.
like I'm consistently behind the bar or on the floor taking tables for 2 hours, helping a server out, and like I have a server number, but I never use it. So like if I was on the floor taking tables, I usually just, if there's one server or two servers, I'll jump on one of those servers' numbers in the POS system and just take their tables with them and help them run food or whatever. And if it's like for a half an hour, I'm like, whatever I can do to help out. Thank you for just keeping your head on your shoulders and not freaking out. Or bar, same thing. If I jump behind the bar for a half hour, even an hour and a half, just doing dishes, serving some drinks, grabbing ice, whatever, just as long as you're staying, like your temperament's good, that's fine. Once it becomes like 2 hour, 2.5 hours, I've taken 8 tables or I've been behind the bar for over 2 hours, then I'm like, I'm not expecting half the amount of tips I would take in that time. But if you would have came up to me and say like, hey, here's $20, thanks for helping me out, or here, which is much less than probably what I made them in that time.
But how about just a thank you?
That's
absolutely.
really all I'm looking for. And honestly, that $20 is going to end up back in
I'm
that
just
tip
looking to
jar.
be appreciated by the
Correct.
employees because I am there and jumping in and helping
Correct.
out, which I didn't have to.
Right.
I could have let them crash and burn, but
Still own the place.
That doesn't do anybody any good.
Right, exactly.
So another thing too is I know it's not part of the question, but is bar backs. So you get 2 bartenders on a big bar on a Saturday night, and they complain because they need a bar back.
I love this.
Now, on the bar backs is paid by the company,
Yep.
Correct.
okay, because they might get tipped out a little bit, but they're an hourly employee. But if I say, okay, if you need a bar back, I'll tell you what, I'll put a third bartender on, and then you shouldn't need a bar back. All 3 of you can handle it. All of a sudden, those 2 people can handle it
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they want to split their tips.
because they don't want to split it 3 ways.
Yep. Or
Then-
let's send the other person home. You close with one person in the bar back because they're cheaper.
Right?
We just,
Your opinion.
I
We
was
talked
just
about
talking about this
It's
with
fine.
Dan, and it's a great question. Me and Dan were just talking about this, was it yesterday or the day before? And I I have always been 50-50 on the bar back thing for what you just said. Now I want, usually the busiest nights is when you have your like best bartenders working, right? So you want to keep them happy and you want to make good money. So I'm like, okay, so for $10 an hour for 5 hours to have some kid come in and do dishes so them two can make more money, I'll do it. It's the busiest night. They're giving good service. It gives them an extra second to talk to the customer. That's cool, right? But then all of a sudden, one of the bartenders is getting cut, and then the other bartender's staying at the end of the night with the bar back that I'm paying hourly.
Correct.
What the fuck happened there?
Right.
That's not why the bar back's on.
Yep.
If it's slow enough where you can cut somebody, the bar back should be going first.
Correct.
So why don't I just put on 3 bartenders?
Right. Put on 3 bartenders. They can split their tips.
Best threat you can make.
And then there's all this stuff going on, and like, you know, search even a little further. There's all this like revolt going on with gratuity-based employees now, and it's starting to come out where the IRS is looking at employees that are making money predominantly on tips, and they're saying, how can we change this where a waitress making, you know, $3 an hour but going home with $300 in the pocket, how can we resituate this whole situation where the IRS is seeing the money they're supposed to be seeing out of this? Because it's really hard to track, especially with cash tips, right? Why would bartenders like start screwing with this where they're like, oh, let's put barbacks on, let's do this, let's do that? Like, dude, take the money and run. Like, earn as much money as you can now, because 10 years from now, you might not be working for tips anymore. Everyone might be paid hourly, and they might not be.
Well, they might be like really ugly and slow.
That's
They still let you get.
So I guess
the position in general is. What
again, I'll corral everybody and say, Andy, the answer to your question is yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Tip the owner.
Okay. Next question comes from Melissa Duke. It says, help, I work in an Irish pub and we're running a special on 3 Olives Lucky Charms vodka. And I'm trying to come up with a 32-ounce liquor pitcher. I hate the stuff, so I'm stumped. Do you have any good ideas for me? And that's from a whiskey drinker.
Okay. I would say there's something out there called Google that you could probably, get some great ideas from.
I would say, who's the asshole that sold you that shit?
More importantly, who's the one that decided it's a thing to make?
All right, so
who's drinking a 32-ounce pitcher of it?
Yeah.
Lucky Charms, like, it's got to taste like basically like coriander vodka. So if you want like an actual creative question, I mean, what would you do with coriander? Like, I mean,
coriander, I would say it would be more marshmallow. I just think of the.
Well, yeah, you're thinking about the good part. I'm thinking if it's Lucky Charms vodka,
well, you're not going to make
like
the vodka flavor of the crappy part of the cereal.
Yeah, all right. So if it's cereal taste flavored vodka, I mean, I don't know. They do birthday cake shots, which is like pineapple, vanilla vodka, frangelico, stuff like that. I mean,
but they're not doing shots. They're doing 32-ounce pitches of it.
32-ounce pitches? How could you drink that much of that?
Yeah, it's
all right. I'll tell you what. Get a 64-ounce cereal bowl. Call it a day.
I got it. We take an old Scorpion bowl and then put a leprechaun in the middle where the 151 would go and just light the whole thing on fire.
That's not a bad idea.
Burn the building down because you shouldn't have that vodka in your house.
We can call it the Flamin' Leprechaun.
Yes. Wait, isn't that
that's
out
a
of
whiskey.
your
Yeah, you got to be careful with that.
So the answer to your question is
throw it away.
We have no idea.
Or ask the person who sold you it.
All right, so this one is from Nikki Burkett, and it says, I have a question. So what do you all say / do when a creepy fuck at the bar keeps telling you how beautiful and sexy you are?
I said it
Carl. Carl, I'm calling Jen.
Just because I asked her if her shirt was felt.
I think.
All right.
I know. So can we be qualified to answer that?
No,
I don't think so.
But we'll try.
Listen,
we got to give our best effort.
That's true.
So you're bartending and some creepy guy's hitting on you. Get used to it. That's the job.
I would say to a point that's correct.
I mean, there's a lot of creepy people out there. I'm one of them.
Right, you could be bagging groceries, you can deal with creeps.
That's
you could be working at the DMV. You could be a doctor. You could be a dentist. There's going to be creeps, man. Like,
to be in this industry,
if there's creepy people and then there's creepy people.
Yes.
If someone's just trying to get your attention and flirting with you and, maybe to the point of being a pain in the ass, but that's maybe his I don't know, personality.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you're going to get those all the time.
Yep.
If it's somebody who's legitimately creepy,
Right.
call a bouncer over and get rid of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like if
absolutely.
you think Carl's gonna be waiting for you out in the parking lot, then you should let someone know. But if it's just him telling you that you look pretty, then
And he wants to
I mean,
rub your
that's
belly and your boobs
yeah.
looking big.
That's not good. You can say that.
I mean,
It's facts.
it's tough, like, but that is come with the job. Like, you talk to plenty of people, and they always gonna say
Right.
things you want to hear.
But I always tell my employees, if you feel uncomfortable, let somebody know, because
Right.
we'll escort them out of the building
Absolutely.
for whatever
100%.
reason. It doesn't matter what they're doing. If they make you feel uncomfortable, this is not the place for them.
But don't cry wolf.
That's
either.
correct.
Yeah.
Don't cry wolf.
That's
But do understand that you walk into a situation where yes, you're pouring drinks and you're a bartender, and that's what it is. But I don't think all three of our places fall into the category where they're like mixologists. No, you're pouring beers and you're there. You're a bartender because you have a really good personality and a really good work ethic.
Right.
These people are gonna
They want to bond with you. They
right.
want to bond.
If they wanted to sit at home and drink, they could go to craft beer cellar, get a great 6-pack, and stare at fucking the TV and do that and not talk to anybody. But no, they're going out and spending 3 times as much on the same beer because they want to sit at the bar and bond with you.
You
They're
can
alone.
be their
They
only
wanna-
social interaction. So.
Correct. So even if it's not necessarily the person you want to hang out with when you get out of work, suck it up. It is
So
what it is.
the answer to the question is, if they're creepy, too bad. If they're creepy,
Let
'em
us
out.
know.
Get them out.
Please.
Don't let us know.
Let Andy know. He'll take care of it.
So this one, okay, it's back. So this one is kind of, I don't know if you guys can answer for everywhere. So this comes from Angela Stevens and says, "Can a bartender legally keep a customer's keys if he is too intoxicated?"
That's a really good question.
No.
I don't think they can, but
No.
right because it's
Legally, no.
but I don't think any police officer is going to be like, "You're under arrest for taking this drunk guy's keys." Like, is any police officer consciously going to do that?
It's
Right.
almost the same question as somebody giving you a fake ID and you keep it.
right.
And they're going to say, legally, you cannot keep it. But are they going to go to the police and say they took my fake ID and they won't give it back?
Right.
Police is going to say,
yeah,
really?
I stole all this money from the bank, and that guy
So
took it from
can
me.
you legally take
Someone
someone's
stole my
keys
drugs.
and keep them? I'm going to say legally no, because what if...
And that's a guess, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I really don't know, but what if their house keys are on it and they're walking?
Yeah. I mean, we could always give the house.
You're just
keys, but-
assuming everybody's driving.
Yes.
I would hope that it doesn't come down to it because you're a shitty bartender if you served them so many drinks, that you have to take their keys away
Who's
from
the
your own
bartender
customer.
here today?
I told her I was walking. So
need my
I'm going to
house
say
keys.
no, but I tell you what, there's a legal precedence that says don't overserve your customers.
I don't know. I think that whole overserving the customer thing, I think...
If you serve somebody to the point where you need to take their keys away, you overserved that customer way before that situation came upon.
But, like,
I don't know. I don't know
counterpoint.
that that's necessarily always true.
Can't they walk into your place and just be a disaster now then since they're on your property?
They could,
They're
but the
liable-
bartender
you're
should
liable.
also know not to serve that person.
But even if they don't, like, even if they just sit at your bar stool, now they're technically your responsibility. Like,
Well, if
So
it
that's
really,
kinda-
if it's such a dire situation, then you should be calling the police.
Yes.
And say, hey, listen, I got a guy at the bar who's intoxicated.
Right.
I think he's going to drive home. Can you come down and escort him out?
Yep.
And they'll escort him out, and they'll call an Uber or a taxi, but at least they will be the ones responsible, because if you call an Uber or a taxi or whatever and they don't get it and they get in their own car, I mean, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
But if the police come and you say, okay, I'm going to escort him to the Uber, then you're all set.
I don't know. I've always looked at it like bartenders aren't babysitters too. Like I think 2 out
But
of
they
3.
have a responsibility.
I agree with that. I think some of that is unfair because, especially nowadays, where people fucking smoking weed, people are sneaking nips in at a rate I've never seen before. I've been bartending for fucking 15 years now. I've been working in this industry, and people are like doing fireball shots in the bathroom, and you don't fucking know.
nope.
You don't know. They come in, they're there for 10 minutes, and they're like all of a sudden they come in, they seem maybe a little buzzed, maybe like they had a good time, and then all of a sudden they're completely blacked out, and they are a responsibility. Well, you serve them one Bud Light, and
the wheels just come off the bus.
But we do also pay our bartenders and servers to at least acknowledge or notice that that's
so I have a
the
story
situation.
that kind of fits this whole thing.
There's been people that come into our bar that
Absolutely.
we're like, hey, dude.
We had a good streak where at one of my jobs, we became the lost puppy place where someone would find a drunk person on the street and like, you have to bring him in. You have to take care of this person. I'm like, why? I didn't give them anything to drink, but now you have them sitting at my bar, and I'm the only one here, and I have 50 other people in here, and now I have to figure out how they're going to get home alive because you found them outside, just walking down the street mangled. Like, so at that point, like, it kind of fell to me. I didn't serve that person, so I had to do what you said: call the police, offer them a cab when they can't speak words to tell you where the cab's going to go. Then it becomes,
take their keys.
No,
And that's the thing. That's the question. Is like, if you were to take their keys, like,
no, he just
how do you get
kept
their
on
keys?
putting his hands in his front pockets.
yeah. It was Karl.
I think it's a lot of gray area, man.
Yeah, well, getting the keys can be a whole battle. It's like, are you really going to fist fight someone for their keys?
No,
too? It's like,
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So the answer to the question, Andy, is don't overserve your patrons.
And if you wind up with someone overserved, do your best to get the keys, but
do the
try
right
to
thing.
Find someone they walked in with, find a friend, something like that, or
call the police.
Make the call.
Yep.
Scare tactics work, especially on drunk people.
Yep.
All right, this next one comes from Crystal Gill. Best non-alcoholic hangover remedy.
What?
Best non-alcoholic.
Why would you have a hangover if you're non-alcoholic?
I got it. Sleep.
No. Instead of like hair of the dog, instead of having a beer.
Oh,
when
instead
you
of
wake
drinking
up.
the next day.
Yeah.
Sleep.
I've had more than a couple of hangovers in my life, and I've never had a good remedy. I've never have.
You can drink through any remedy.
You could say sleep.
Well, I got water and sleep. I think that's going to be the obvious answer.
I'm a firm believer in Pedialyte. That stuff saves lives.
Pedialyte's great.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was for babies.
It's babies and hungover people.
Well,
I've literally seen Facebook ads now saying like, try this new Pedialyte advanced formula. It's for geared towards athletes and not so much hungover.
Hey, I'll tell you what. There's this new the show Shark Tank that was on. I think it's still on. I never actually watched it, but like certain inventions that were kind of cool, like you see the YouTube videos on internet and stuff like that. But there was this stuff called Thrive, invented by this kid that I think went to Harvard, and it was basically like an extreme multivitamin that if you took it after a night of drinking and went to bed with, and drank a bunch of water, of course, you got to drink the water, you felt better the next day. So I said, what the hell? I bought it. I gave it a shot. And it doesn't really work.
I think some of those things are mind over matter. Because I've
you said
drinking in Amazon.
You
shopping and bought
said
those things,
Pedialyte. What about all those energy waters that are out there, vitamin waters and?
Well, the energy ones can dehydrate you more than they can hydrate you with all that stuff that's in them.
Yeah,
but
you want to stay with electrolytes, but stay away from the caffeine.
Potassium, well, a little bit of caffeine helps.
B12.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bananas, rice. I think
Water.
that's
I think water and sleep is the answer.
I think that's diarrhea, but
I'm
I'm not
like-
sure.
Sometimes
You
you're
are
just
getting
going to go walk out and drown yourself.
Right? Bananas, rice. Isn't it brats or something?
Well, grease.
Bananas,
Trying to-
rice, apples, toast, and salmonella or something.
Whatever they
Lots
serve
of
you at the
bacon.
fucking old folks home.
Yeah, whatever that mush is. Some gruel.
Num-nums.
So the answer is, Andy, you're screwed.
Water and sleep and cut the
Pedialyte.
fucking shit. Stay off the pills.
Just because you sleep doesn't mean you're not hungover.
It's true.
No, sleep is why you're hungover. See, here's the deal with this.
Oh my God!
This
Go ahead.
guy.
Really? Am I really going to
Yeah,
get
we're
this?
not going to believe you.
So you go to sleep drunk, like you feel like you sleep heavier, but you're not because your fucking, they call it your circadian rhythm isn't right. So you're not actually getting REM sleep. You're like drunk with your eyes closed for like 4 straight hours. So you don't actually sleep. So you wake up and you're like still kind of drunk and you're definitely like fucking exhausted because you're just full of sugar and shit. So you wake up, you drink a bunch of water, you do what you got to do for a couple hours, and get all those anxiety, tight chest shit things, and go back to bed.
Scaries, we call it.
I'm a veteran, guys.
Yeah, but if
Trust
you
me.
can go back to bed. You're still hungover while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
No, but you're over it because you didn't continue
The question
drinking.
wanted to know, how do I wake up refreshed? From
I
the
think
night
it's
of
more
drinking?
that
can't.
it's like, how do you get your
Right.
game face back on?
Go back
That's what I'm saying.
That's what
yeah,
it's-
8 hours of not drinking will do that.
Who
for
sent
you.
in that question?
Oh, I lost it already. I'm on to the next one.
All right,
Cool,
well,
let's
listen,
do that.
Kathy.
Oh,
Stop drinking.
something. Crystal Gill.
Crystal Gill.
Crystal
Gill.
Gill.
That was a singer,
Crystal, if
wasn't
you
it?
had gills,
Huh?
you'd be
Crystal
awesome.
Gill is a singer.
She could be.
That's Crystal Gale.
That could also be someone.
That sounds like a porn star.
I'd actually be a singer.
We don't know what kind of stuff he watches.
Next question.
Thanks, Crystal.
This is Ronnie Francesco. It says, have you guys ever worked in a bar where the manager takes your tips into another room and counts it without you and then gives you your money?
Yes,
No.
No.
I have.
Really?
I don't.
Yep. Not all of them, but credit card ones that you take from the drawer.
Oh, right. I used to do that. I used to be the manager that did that.
Yeah.
I had to, but they were standing there. They weren't. It was
See,
in a
yeah.
different room. but-
What happened?
But they would take your drawer at the end of the night, and you have all your credit card tips in there, but you don't take them out as you go.
Right.
And they would go up back to the office, count your drawer.
Yeah, but counting your drawer and counting your tips are
With
two different
though
things.
your credit card
Well,
tips are in the drawer.
Coming
That's where
out of
they
the
come
drawer,
from.
it's the over.
When you do your report, you're dropping all that.
Yeah.
So the credit cards and tips are still in the
In the
drawer.
drawer.
Stay
yeah.
in the drawer.
Because at
Correct.
this place, they didn't want you to take them out.
Yeah, every place I've ever worked, you don't take them out
Yeah.
until you cash out because it could be a mistake.
Exactly, because then your drawer could be short.
Correct.
because you
Yeah, but then they have to put the money back in, so you're all set.
An honest person, yes.
No, if your draw
Right.
starts at, let's say, $300,
Yep.
and then you take your sales and say, okay, you sold $300 worth of sales, your draw cash, your draw should be $600,
Right.
right?
Yep. Plus whatever the person leaves you for a tip. In there.
But they took the cash tips out, and then the credit card tips is, let's say, $100.
Yep.
Then your draw should be whatever I said minus whatever I'm thinking of.
Well, it's easier when it's 300.
That's why I don't take it in the other room. I'm like, I'm off.
Theoretically, that is how it should work. But I've worked in places with 4 people at a time, and they're like, all right, well, your drawer after your drop was $20 short. And that's where it comes out of your tips. So,
Yeah,
it's,
so
I think a lot of the reason why they do that too is not to get too complicated, like I just did about the whole hangover thing, but when you're counting multiple servers and bartenders at like the same time, like sort of like at the end of the shift, some servers are going to come in where they're negative, like where their cash due was like negative
Right.
$40 because
Right.
they owed that tip.
Yep.
When you kind of put it all together and you take the cash from the whole shift and then you distribute it after, it's kind of up to the manager to be able to do that.
Yeah, but I think the
instead of
question-
people switching money between each other or
I
you
think-
owing
who
waitresses.
asked the question? Did you lose that too? For Christ's sakes.
Crystal Gill.
no,
Crystal
that was the
Gale.
first
I know. I just wanted to say it. It
It's
was a cool name.
Francesco.
Francesco.
Oh, Francisco.
Francesco.
Yeah.
I'll just write down right
I
there.
think Francesco. So much fun to say. Elf. Anyway,
What the fuck just happened?
so I guess the question is, why are they taking into the back room by themselves to do it, to come out to say that this is it? They should
agree
do
with
it. They should do it with the
With the-
employees.
I
In
agree.
front of them. I agree.
Yeah, so
I've
I
never
think-
done it with
I think
them.
that was the question. Not do they count the
agree.
drawers, but do
Without
they,
you.
Do they?
Without
yeah.
you. Yeah. Instead, I've worked at a place
So
like
I would say that's shaky. Shaky.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yes.
Shaky.
Yeah, I would leave that place and go
Shaky,
work for
shaky.
Speedwell Tavern. We take care of our employees.
It's like you count your own money.
Next question,
Okay.
co-producer.
This is from Christina Ann. It says, what is the stupidest question anyone has ever received?
This one, right now, that just happened. Sorry, Chris.
What do you mean? What do you mean by receipt?
This was from former listener Christina Ann.
I don't even have to think about this, and I'm shocked you guys do too, because I had someone call me up on the phone and say, "Hey, how far away from me are you?" And I sat there and paused. Say, "I don't know where you are,"
Oh, you told me that.
and then just paused again, and then she told me where she was. I was like, "How would I know that? I don't have GPS trackers on anyone on the phone." It's like I sat there and like
I'm on
dumbfounded.
15 Smith's Lane.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Like, we're not even down the street from you. We are in a different state. How far are we? Well, let me call MapQuest and get my GPS going.
Well, I would say there's no
calculate.
question that's a stupid question unless it's a really stupid question.
Yeah,
How about someone standing? I don't know. It's kind of unfair to people listening that maybe haven't been to Speedwell, but we get this weekly. Do you guys have draft beer? You walk in. All right. So just to fill in the listener, you walk in a Speedwell, and
Or any bar.
Your first thing to see is the bar, and then it's a very narrow, long bar, and you look down it, and on the left-hand side, I'll start simple. On the right-hand side is the dining room. Straight ahead is the kitchen. On the left-hand side is 24 draft lines. And I'm telling you, especially this time of year, people with tunnel vision come in and they say, "You guys have draft beer?" And my bartenders are trained to say no. If anybody asks that, I tell them to say no. I'll say no and see what happens. Because I just complete unawareness. I don't know. That's a pretty dumb question, right?
There's a lot of silly questions out there.
If they're sitting in the dining room,
But
and
to say
that,
the silliest is tough to say.
why? You have an example?
I
You
disagree.
got to have an
I was
example.
No, I'm saying the question was, what's the stupidest question someone
Yeah,
asked?
no. You got to have an example of something that comes off your mind, like Dan and I just had, though, right? At New World.
Oh, now you want me to talk?
Yes,
No.
I'm going in order here. Take a big swig, kid.
Get your vitamins.
No, nobody's asking me any stupid questions.
I don't believe that first. That's
Well,
taking the
I do,
fucking high
because
road.
he's usually asking questions.
Okay, if he's the asker.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm not the askee.
All right, what's the dumbest question you've ever asked me, Dan? You got none? You gonna take the high road on this?
No,
one?
I think there's just so many weird questions out there.
Guy like
you could
you-
say stupid questions, but
What's your favorite one? You don't have anything at the top of the
Yeah,
list.
it doesn't have to be dumb. Come on, man.
There's got to be something. You can give us one from
It's
your
not
top
fair.
5.
stupid questions of all time in a bar.
Yeah. How about this week? It's only Monday.
It could be from an employee or a customer. How about that one?
Never said customer.
Oh,
Right.
that's a good question.
Yep.
How about forget about the stupid questions? I'll give you a stupid answer.
Okay.
What else
I
is
had an employee when we first opened 7 years ago, and we were serving. I believe it was buffalo chicken sandwich. I forget what the situation was.
buffalo chicken situation?
And the customer
band name.
asked the waitress, who was a vegetarian, could have been a vegan. So they asked him, is the buffalo really spicy? And she said, I don't know. I don't eat buffalo meat. And stood there. And I said, wow, she's either a genius because she's got now the whole table just staring at her. Or she's probably not the brightest server I've ever hired.
Which was it?
Why isn't someone like crossbred like a buffalo chicken yet? Like half buffalo, half chicken.
Is the buffalo sandwich really hot? I don't know. I don't eat buffalo.
I don't think you guys are going to top that one.
That's pretty good. No, yeah, let's carry on. Good question. Good answer.
Good answer.
Good answer.
So this one is from Andrea Prescott, and there's a photo with this. It says, "Just curious what other people say to their guests when this happens," and it's a picture. They actually did a very good job of cropping out any real information of someone's credit card being declined. So it's just a picture of the screen that says declined. So how do you handle a declined credit card?
I tell you, it's tough. But, well, I guess before I answer the question is, when somebody's credit card is declined, most of the people that give you that declined credit card already know it.
Yeah.
So what I do is I bring it back and I say, oh, for some reason this isn't going through. Do you have another card?
Exactly what I do.
Yep.
And they'll say, oh, can you try it again? Sure. And I'll go up and go beep, 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 beep. And I'll say, yeah, for some reason it's getting declined. So, and then you play the
empathize.
Yes, you play the very concerned bar owner. You might want to call your bank man. Maybe somebody got into your account. Just, make sure that everything's all right. Oh, okay, yeah.
That's exactly.
Literally had that happen to me here at Luciosa's. Card got declined because the bank shut it off.
Yeah, and it does happen.
Yeah.
No, I've had it happen in the supermarket.
You fucking stiff.
John still gives me shit to this day.
I had it happen once, and it was the corporate credit card that I was using.
Yeah.
And I went in, and they said it was declined. And I said, really? And I went to the bank, and the bank said, yeah, we shut down your account because there was some transactions going on that we didn't think was yours, so we thought it best to shut it down. Right. I'm like, well, at least they're looking out for me.
Yeah.
But you could have gave me a heads up so I can get my smoothie, you know?
Right. And they do it now. Like, if you have, like, sign up for, like, the apps or whatever, they'll always be like, hey, I get overtime. I'm an overtipper. I overtip. So when I use my credit card, like here, for example.
You're an overtipper.
I'm an overtipper.
Yeah.
So they'll say, like, hey, did you mean to tip 30% on this tab? Like, they'll send you an email, like, an hour later and be like, you know what I mean? So then now it's a little bit more, but back in the day, it was.
So I think if you just go up and you play the,
correct.
Oh my God, make sure you check this, make sure you check that. But yeah, I would say 90% of the people that give you that card, because it's not only credit cards now, it's debit cards, and if you have a zero balance on a debit card, it's not going to give it to you.
Can I tag on to that too? You ever have this happen where someone opens up a tab and they run a huge tab and then they just forget it at the end of the night, and then you go to run the tab at the end of the night and it's declined? What the fuck do you do then? That's happened to me a couple times because we swipe the card for their name, but we don't swipe it for the authorization.
Correct.
Right. So someone starts a tab, you take their card because it's busy at the end, Friday or Saturday night, and you swipe the card for their name and you keep the card, and that person leaves. They run a $100 tab and they leave, and you go to run the card the other night and it's declined, and they're never fucking coming back for that thing.
Right.
That's rough.
You got a lot of big bars in the city. They'll take your card and your license now. I think for that reason.
Yeah. Because their license at least costs them $50.
Exactly. Well, it has their information on it too.
Oh, that's a good point.
Part,
that doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. But it does happen. It has happened.
It sort of happened to me at Speedwell, and this is a little bit of a humble brag, but usually when I go to places in town, they don't ask for my credit card when I start a tab because everybody knows me.
Who do you think you are?
So I was there, and someone asked me for a credit card, so I gave the credit card. It was when you were running the art event.
Oh, right.
And I went to buy a print from Kyle Powers, and I had recently got a new debit card, and stupid me never took the old one out. I just put the new one in on top of it.
Right.
So when I opened up my wallet, I handed him the old one, and Kyle had to come over and be like, dude, your credit card's not working. And then I had to go and be like, hey, Jordan, can you go get my credit card?
I remember that.
So that's how we handle that situation.
Okay. Let's see. This is from Jack Welchel.
Could have went anyway.
And it says, okay, this is different. It says a guy walks into the single bathroom, so Jordan can relate. Actually, everybody but Karl can relate.
I'm not single.
Single bathroom, and a girl in the bathroom didn't lock the door, and she cusses him out for trying to use the bathroom while she's on social media. I don't know whether that meant she's taking a selfie or something. I don't know. So it says,
yes.
how do you use a server respond if the guy was your customer?
I don't know if you have to. I mean, the girl's the one that didn't lock the door.
Correct.
It's a weird. I mean, I've been at Jordan's place and watched some guy get caught pooping in the bathroom.
And again, who said
Seahorse.
Yes.
Rachel. No, damn it! I just deleted it.
Joe.
Why do you want to know everyone's name? Listen to the first time.
Look, I want to sympathize. Joe,
I think it was Joe.
Yeah.
No, it was Jack. It was Jack.
Jack.
Welchel was the last one.
Jack Welchel,
Yeah.
yep. I'm sure you're a long-time listener, first-time question. If it happens that many times that you have to ask, there might be an issue.
Need some new locks.
Don't go to the singles, go to the men's room.
That's a really good point. Like, how severe was this situation? Even,
Right.
Whether it was more than once or, like, was this, like, completely traumatic that you had to ask a podcast?
And how did you know she was on social media? Maybe she was just on Phone a Friend.
Correct.
She was like.
So I have a
on her
feeling
phone
he knows
doing
a lot.
selfie poses. Girls are weird, man.
he knows a lot more. Right, he knows a lot more about this broad than I think he's leading on.
Yeah.
He knows she was on social media. He knew she was going to be in that bathroom.
Did he follow her in there?
Maybe he was following her on Snapchat in there.
Maybe he had to change his baby on the baby changing table and was the only one that had one.
Could be true.
That's true.
Don't bring your baby to a bar.
No, you can bring your baby to a bar.
Yeah,
Depends
just
what time.
don't social media.
Change him before you get in.
No, then they poop after.
Well, this isn't Jack's fault.
This is,
I
don't know. There's some underlying themes here.
That's right.
We're going to delve into this Jack situation. He seems to know a lot about this girl.
But she doesn't know how to lock
They
the
call
door.
him Jack Me-Off.
Maybe he knows this girl doesn't lock the door. He followed her around. He knew she was on social media.
ultimately,
Maybe she's like,
this
hey,
comes down to
Jack,
the person
I don't
not
lock my door.
locking the door.
I think you're right. I think you're right about
It's
that.
only one.
I think
way.
you're right.
The one
The
solution
question
At
is-
the end of the day, I think you're right.
There is no answer.
All right. No, the answer is,
Lock the
dude,
door.
knock first, please.
Yeah, knock.
Knock and
Knock 3 times.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
girl
if you're that
listening
worried.
that I've extremely offended, please just lock the door
Yeah.
and stop taking selfies in the bathroom. That's weird. It's gross. No one wants to see
Social media.
it.
I heard of that.
All right. This one is from Amanda Gummert. And it says, need advice. Requested off a while ago for next weekend. Got my shifts covered. I bartend and now both... So this is worded very strangely. I bartend and now both of the girls that were supposed to work a Friday night are fired. I already spent close to $1,000 for my family trip. No one will even cover my shift. What should I do?
I think that's on the manager or the owner.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
you hire. It's
if
not her fault.
if I need the weekend off or the Saturday night off, and you cover, and it's legit that you cover, you get fired before that shift. I would say it's up to the manager to get that shift.
I would agree.
Well, you have to think the manager has to approve the shift changes in a
Well, they
perfect
did,
world.
and
So
then fired the other person because they
Well,
were
that's what I mean. Then it's really ultimately
they were
falls to the
taking
manager.
selfies in the bathroom.
Or if their protocol
Walking in
doesn't
on
involve
people.
a manageable approval, then that's on the manager too.
Exactly.
You know, if they're letting the staff go willy nilly and get whatever coverage they want, then I'm sorry, that's just how it goes. And
Yep.
you fired that. I think.
Yeah, so I would tell Amanda, go have a good time. It's all on your boss, kid.
Yeah, tear it up. It sounds to me like it's a shitty situation. Like she feels like she might lose her job if she doesn't show up to these shifts now. But I would make a stance. I would pull
But
that.
I think I would like that employee because at least she's concerned about.
Correct. The shifts that
She's
she
not like
already had
saying,
covered. and
"Hey,
that
screw it."
shouldn't be her responsibility anymore, but she's still worried about it. Forward this email and say the Bar Talk guys are on my side.
Right.
Yep.
There you go.
And Carl's hiring, so.
And Carl's hiring. So
Yep.
that'll
And
all
tell
work
her
out.
to listen to this podcast.
The what?
Right?
What'd you say?
Did I say that right this time?
Nope.
You did.
The iPodcast.
There's a speed bump in there somewhere.
All right. So this one is from Audra Jung.
What?
Audra Jung. And I'm going to add to this.
Young.
Easy.
I'm just reading what it says. So I'm gonna read this question, and then I'm gonna add to it. So it says, bartenders, how often do you get to have a smoke break? And if you're this is my addition. If you're non-smoker, do I get to go outside and hold a cigarette for a break?
All right.
Hell
I'm going to start.
That's
on this
a
one.
great
We
one.
love this question. I'm going to start by saying before I was ever in the bar scene, I worked corporately, and that question came up, and it was a big meeting with all the bigwigs.
Carl, the name is Audra. You just always ask me twice. I was just letting you know.
Hey, Audra. Long-time listener, one-time question. So there was a big meeting. VPs were there, everybody. And it came up where one of the VPs, their beef was that people weren't starting on time. What they would do is if they had started at 8 o'clock in the morning, they would come in, punch in at 8, go up, get a cup of coffee, go back to their cubicle or whatever, and then start work. Now it's 8:10. So his beef was, go get a coffee on the way here, or come in 15 minutes early, get your coffee, and then start work. And one of the newbies that was there was asked by the president what his thoughts were. And it was a young kid. And he said, well, I'll tell you what. I'm one of those people that do that. And am I really sucking 10 minutes out of the company? Maybe. But what about all these people that smoke? They go out and they take a smoke break for 10 minutes every hour that they work. And wouldn't you know that the guy that was complaining about the coffee is a big smoker? So they all looked at him and said, well, what do you think about that? And those guys never talked again after that meeting. I'll tell you right now. But it's a good point. Why should a smoker go out for 10 minutes every hour to smoke a cigarette and have that as a break every hour, a 10-minute break?
It's a luxury.
And they don't consider that a break. They don't consider it a break.
Agree.
But the non-smoker doesn't do it, yet do they have that right?
You know, and this is going to sound really weak, but like when I first got my first job when I was 16, I worked at a big restaurant, and we worked 10-hour shifts. I'm 16. I'm working 10-hour shifts. I'm in high school. And
oh, you're the best. Keep them going.
The only people, well, no, everybody did it. That wasn't just me. It was a giant restaurant. And the only people that got breaks were the people that smoked. So I started smoking. I'd go out with the smokers. Right. And eventually I'd be like, I'm 16. I'm a fucking malleable little kid.
Right.
So I was like, I'll take a cigarette. Dude, I smoked for like 10 years. Yep. I started smoking because it was the only way I can get a goddamn break. Now, is that the only reason? No, it's, you're a kid. You do stupid shit. But no, I started smoking. That was one of the reasons why. Because the only way you could get a break, and the manager would be like, all right, finish up your cigarette and get back in there. If you were standing out there and you just had your hands in your pockets, what the hell are you doing out
That's
here?
That's right.
Get back in there. What are you doing? You're not doing anything out here. At least smoke a butt. It's like,
so we're anti-smoking break people.
I am.
Unless it's a legitimate break. But do whatever you want. Your 15-minute break.
See, I've been on a crew of 5 bartenders where I was the only non-smoker, and eventually I said, I'm taking a smoke break too, and just walked outside and didn't smoke cigarettes,
right.
Jordan. And,
right. And I'm okay with that.
I mean, like you said, it's the same thing. It's like, if you're going to do it, why can't I do it? Why do I have to sit
But that's
here
not the question. The question is not if they're going to do it, you should do it. It's they shouldn't do it.
No, well, here's what I do, and here's my solution at Speedwell, is I only think I have one front-of-the-house employee that smokes, but I have 4 back-of-the-house employees, kitchen employees that smoke, and I make sure they have the hand-washing procedures, and that's what it is. But they got to go out there and sweep. I go take out a bag of trash from the bar. If the kitchen's all set, then you go out to the bar and you grab a bag of trash and you go out, and that's when you smoke your butt. Or you sweep the sidewalk, or you empty the ashtrays.
How about you don't smoke during your shift?
No, you can smoke during your shift.
Yeah.
Fine, go ahead, go for your break.
No.
But you got to be working.
For your break, I'm all set.
Yeah.
But if they're taking a 5-minute break every
hour, it's every 30 minutes.
Well,
it's about 10-minute break every hour. But they're out there, they're doing something. They could smoke for 7 minutes of that break, but 3 minutes of it, they're emptying an ashtray, they're sweeping, they're taking out trash.
And there's 13 friggin' tickets up at the window that they're not cooking.
Well, ultimately, if it's busy, you shouldn't be out there.
You shouldn't be out there. That's not a break. You can't take the break when it's busy. It is what it is. Every place is different. That's sort of my PC solution to the thing.
But it shouldn't be PC.
I agree.
All employees should be the same whether they smoke or not.
Yeah, it's hard to find employees these days, Karl. You gotta we're at their fucking mercy. It is what it is. But
I hate employees.
I know.
Explains why you need some.
Especially the smoke.
All right, this one is from Annette Elizabeth. Any ideas on games to play during your shift to lighten the mood? We do funniest guest complaint, most complicated order, highest sales, etc. Looking for some new ideas.
With fellow employees.
Yeah.
So, all right, I was thinking, like, if you're at, like, a dead bar and you have a couple employees at the bar, like, what to get a couple of customers at the bar. But with fellow employees to kind of keep it lighthearted and fun. That's a good question.
I'm thinking if she's really good looking, like strip poker or something.
Oh, Karl.
That's like
New World Tavern's hiring.
me when I'm in the kitchen with somebody, especially if it's like a kid I'm not used to working with, because I only do like a couple kitchen shifts a week. Like, I'm trying to lighten it up and keep it fun. We always try to guess by the look of the customer walking in the door what they're gonna order. So like, I'll profile big
All right,
time.
so you're saying just the employees themselves, you're not
No,
with
between
the
the
employees.
No, this is just
To
to
keep
kind
the
of
shit
like,
lighthearted.
that you kind of do like in passing, be like,
All right, not with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
industry banner,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
with
Not with the customer.
No.
Okay.
So like, I say I was working with one of my new guys, like, and an old couple walked in, obviously to us, and be like, guaranteed fish and chips, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, yes, please. Things like that. Like, so I do that. That's what I do in the kitchen. We try to, like, by the people walking in the door, Sometimes it's appropriate, sometimes it's not. But we try to guess what they're going to order, and I'm going to tell you what, we're about like 30%. You know what I mean? That's what I'd say. You know, you get some surprises in there, but you know the old people are going to get onion rings.
We do stay-in or just bathroom?
You guys are so boring.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like to play talk with a fake accent to like, if you work with like a big restaurant and you're working with 10 people, that's a great thing though. You walk by a table and you hear someone talking on a British accent knowing they are from the town right over from you. It's a game to play. Yeah. Not let's guess what they're going to order.
Oh, all right. Excuse me.
So do you do different
accents
for different tables, and you have to go back and remember
So
what
yes,
accent you had for each table?
It's kind of like accent chicken.
Give us an example.
Yeah, no, I want to hear the accent.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm not good at it.
Oh, no. You can't come over here and insult our fucking game.
I mean, I can do a terrible British accent.
Let's go.
It's like, good day, governor. That's it. And if you fall for that, it's your fault.
British beer company, everybody.
That's
British beer
Yeah,
company,
that's
everybody.
that's his Australian accent, his
Yeah.
New Zealand accent.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would have Carl do some, but it would get a little.
Well, I got
racist.
Get
Indian.
the hobgoblin from you.
Yeah, like, or you can talk like a Southern
I have the
accent or
Indian
something
and the
like that. How y'all
Asian
doing
accent,
today?
and that's all I got.
What do you got? Let's hear it. Asian accent. Go ahead. I work really hard because I'm no fun. That's all I got.
All right. So next question, before this gets too bad, from Amanda Hinkson.
Thanks.
Want to get your opinions. If you were fired from a restaurant, would you go back to eat there?
No.
Never. I don't think
What'd you get fired for?
It doesn't say.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. If you got fired because like you didn't have availability, but like you really like the chicken tenders.
Well, what if you were doing the boss and you wanted to go back to see the wife just to get the divorce?
What kind of place are you running over there, dude? What the fuck? Oh. I really hope Jen doesn't.
I'm sorry.
I don't know, Dan. What about you?
New World
Fired
Tavern
a couple
is
people, they
hiring.
Keep coming back.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I would take a very long vacation from that place if I was going to come back. But it really all depends what you've done. Like,
Yeah.
That's a
and I
really
think it's
good point.
ultimately it's the
All right, so why
person
don't
charges,
This
right?
actually could be one of the stupidest questions that we've gotten.
that's a stupid.
If I got fired from a bar, would you go back there and drink?
No,
To be
no,
fair,
yes,
no one I've ever fired has come back to the bar.
I think it's a fair question because there's different reasons you can be fired. So I fired many people where it was like we had a handshake and we've walked away, and if they came back, I'd be completely fine with it. Like I wouldn't expect them like maybe in a week or two if they wanted to come back and have a fucking burger, I'd be okay with that.
See, I think it needs to be longer than that. I think it's.
But did you
Depends
fire him?
on the firing.
Did you fire him because he wasn't showing up for work?
Yeah, something stupid like that. Like if I fired him because like, oh, your schedule's just not working out anymore, or like,
Or because he was jerking the chicken?
if he was. Anyway,
I mean-
all right, next question.
All right. So this is the next question and last call. Oh, why'd I do this to myself? The
That's
name
great.
is David Dallin Waldrip the
You made
second.
that up.
That's got to be made up. That
Yeah.
can't be the real name. So this is the last call question. Legit question, fellas. Do you take off your aprons to pee or just lift them up?
Oh, I'm a lifter.
You're a lifter. That's
Yeah,
illegal.
it's like a kilt. It's
You
not
don't wear
illegal.
you don't wear anything under the apron, though. That's different.
It's like
So you said it's like a kilt.
You got to take the apron off, man.
no, you just lift.
Port of health.
I don't tell him.
You just told all 4 of our listeners. You got to take the apron off, man. I don't even wear an apron. I don't know.
I haven't had to do a job with an apron in a while, so I have no idea.
No, I don't wear an apron.
Yeah, you lift.
Don't look at me.
Well, tell
I'm not
David
gonna give you
Ogden
approval.
III that it's a lifter.
All right.
That's MASH.
I don't answer them back. They listen.
Yeah.
That's last call. So you just last call.
Last call.
Last call. Joe from the Board of Health will be over checking on Carl's apron. Running a fucking black light on it.
Or
See what's-
under.
I'll take it.
Last call. I'll kick it off. Might as well. I want to thank everybody that sent the questions in, no matter how made up your names were.
And thank you for listening for the last year and a half.
Yeah. It's been a year, but
Seems like a year and a half.
I'm so excited.
I've worked with Karl for a year.
And keep the questions coming, because I think this is a great episode.
No, absolutely.
Where do they send the questions, Jordan?
What's up?
Where do they send the questions?
They send the questions to bartalkcast@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on Twitter or Instagram. Yes, we now have an Instagram after the many screw-ups at bartalkcast. Or you can DM us on Facebook, Bar Talk on Facebook. But send us the questions. Keep them coming, because this was a really fun episode. It was fresh, kept it light. It was challenging, and it brought out the worst in some of us.
Well, we didn't say it was you, Karl.
I can't wait to go back to listen to this one. But no, it was great. And I think what was the best part was your names. Holy shit, your names are all over the place. But thanks.
Credit to Andy for pronouncing.
Yes, thank you, Andy.
Oh, credit
co-producer,
to Andy, the translator. Yeah, absolutely. Translating what Karl was talking about. Really good job. Keep the questions coming, please. Thanks again for listening, and I'm going to hand it over to Dan Mahoney.
Well, I also want to thank the many great listeners out there for sending us questions, and also to the fine people of Lucioso's for having us in this back room. And especially since Karl showed up 4 hours early and creeped everybody out. So
we had the room all to ourselves now.
Yeah, they took some hits there. So thank you again, Lucioso's. He was prepping. That's what we'll call it. Thank you everyone for listening, and thanks for having me, guys. Karl?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for all your questions that you've been emailing us throughout the years that we've been doing this. Thank you for Lucioso's, and if you're ever in Plymouth, come down to the New World Tavern and ask me some of these questions live. See if I give you the same answer.
He might even give you a job.
You're going to say, kid, I'm busy. Go grab some silverware.
I might even give you an apron.
Slightly lifted.
All by itself.